Would you like it? So it's been 11 hours playing.
Welcome, dear readers, to Cover My Ass, where baffling books are reviewed but not read by yours truly. My name is Khaki.
And I'm Kay, and remember, we only judge a book by its cover.
And we find ourselves once more amid the towering stacks of your library, and I've got to say, the evidence of my plan's utter ruination, my fantastic bear suit lies scattered around me.
What happened, a bear? Did you find one?
Well, I presume so.
Oh, it was like this when you found it.
There was more of it when I left it.
Yes.
So let's take a look at the pieces
Yes.
that we
Are you sure
see.
the Velociraptors haven't gotten jealous about all the attention you've been giving on it?
This was some heavy shit, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And the Velociraptors, as ferocious as they are just knee-high little.
There's a lot of them, though.
Little dudes. There are a lot.
And they are tenacious.
I've never known them to steal something that they didn't either immediately completely destroy or wear.
Okay, so let's see. What do we have? I think this used to be the head.
It's the face plate.
Well, close
So
enough.
there was much more to the head, and that even
yes.
had a rolling cage, which I think has been torn to pieces here as well.
Yes, I think I tripped over that on the way in.
That's been just completely demolished. We have the two boots, and I think these are most of the fingers of the gloves, but
This looks like a water wheel. Were you planning to make it water powered?
I was trying to take some of the weight off of my back. I was just trying things.
So it only would have worked if you're in the shower or a very heavy rainstorm.
The water wheel was not a success.
No, okay,
you probably
fair
could
enough.
have told me that.
No,
but
well, it's kind of like having an electric car connected to the mains, you know? It's like it works very well, but only for a short
yeah,
range.
within a certain limited
Yeah.
range. But within that range, you have unlimited range.
Well.
But I have a theory that I want to run by you. I think maybe a bear stole my bear suit, and I now imagine that there's a bear wearing my bear suit.
That would be awesome and frightening at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, they would have to rip the faceplate off to make room for their
Snout.
pointy snout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Normally, I would say it would not be a problem. We could hear them approaching because they would be wearing those big stumpy boots, except they're not.
There, yeah. See?
Then again, bears aren't quiet on a good day.
I've never heard one.
It's a good point. But, you know, the absence of proof is not the proof of absence.
But we have had other evidence. I've seen the bear traps, and obviously you've told me that bear season is from the end of August to the beginning of November. So,
So we still have 2 weeks to go.
yeah,
about
2 weeks. That's
yes.
how it works. Now, this is October 17th. It's now October 17th, so please let that be true. I checked my little pocket haruspex, and it told me a prophecy.
Ah, very good.
This frightful image has occupied my mind. There is
I've never found any gnawed on bones or obvious human remains in bear scat or anything like that.
That's heartening.
So I guess when it goes to evidence, I guess yes, because bear scat is a fantastic fertilizer for the roses.
Oh, is that why they're so lovely?
Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
late in season 2, it's amazing. So I think you're good.
Okay, that's heartening, but I just can't get over this idea that there is at least one thieving bear.
Yes.
Who just waited and burgled and took his time taking my property that I'd worked very hard to make, specifically on a mission to befriend bears, and then they go and pull this shit with me. So I am...
Maybe they figured like you were trying to set them up in an arms race, and they went like, oh, well, see, you've got one. We need to have one of those as well.
See, shouldn't you open like a dialogue, especially if you're a bear, and you could literally open up the person trying to open up the dialogue.
I mean, they've seen what you've done to the bookworms, so they figured like maybe the bears are next.
They must have then also seen what I've done with the Velociraptors, but they maybe have seen what the Velociraptors did to the ducks. Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
The circle of life is a complex web. So what are you saying? I should try again?
Oh,
I've
well,
only got the 2 weeks.
if you're hunting,
That's
if you're hunting them.
what happens at the end of bear season.
Well, then you're not legally allowed to hunt bears anymore.
Wait, I was supposed to hunt them?
That's what season is for. I mean, that's what do you think I was talking about? That's the only time when the bears are around.
In Australia, when it's the rainy season, that's not when you hunt rain. That's when it rains.
What do you think the bear traps are for?
Okay.
I mean, I've never caught one, so they're either onto the bear traps or there is no bears, or they're maybe not.
Wait,
not
there's an
susceptible
option
to
that there's
traps.
no bears. Listen, okay.
Well,
okay.
I mean, there's disappearing bear suits.
Yeah, okay. So I don't know any other culprits. This is just frustrating.
It's just one of the rules. Bear season is until the end of November.
I completely accept that. As a junior librarian, I'm completely down with entirely arbitrary rules. I do want to understand them.
It's like turning my Norwegian romance section into a...
I made a judgment call there. Yeah, okay. But it has resulted in a net benefit, I think,
Fair
at the
enough.
cost of
Well-
one section that maybe... I mean, I'm just kind of disheartened.
Maybe they're phase bears.
Face bears.
No, phase.
Because then they would have... I mean, if he had a face, then he would have...
Then he would have
kept the... Yeah, exactly.
No,
So
phase
they're
bears,
definitely
as in
not
they
face bears.
phase through things.
Oh, he's going to have trouble with that that suit then.
Why? Is it warded?
Well, I didn't know that that was an option, but I do now.
Oh.
So I sort of imagined that the bear would want the suit to phase with it.
No, that's a very, very, very cunning idea. That's like maybe
Yeah.
the bear. I don't know. I don't know if they can do that to other things. I mean, I suppose they can. I mean, like if they use it to hunt, then they would like grab their prey and then phase out again and drag the prey along. So maybe there's like a certain limit of weight and material that they can take with them.
Yeah. I am now picturing a aluminum armed bear that can walk through walls, and I've got to say, just the spectacular, like, heavy metal album covers imagery is just piling on top of each other. This is great. Okay, so now we have an armored phase bear, impervious to traps. I mean, maybe that's why none of the
That
traps
would be
have
it. They've never been
worked.
sprung. That would be it.
This library you've got here is just a tangled web of nearly incomprehensible rules.
Ah, yes.
Speaking of which,
Segway Awards nomination for 2019 or 18. We're still on, isn't it?
that's right. We did a little alley-oop there. What do we have in store for our readers this week?
This week's book is by Richard A. Knaak. It's called the Shattered Light series, and this book is the Ruby Flames. It's part one.
Yeah. Before we get to the cover, which, by the way, if you look down at your podcasting device, you should be seeing the cover of today's book, and otherwise you can look in the show notes for an image and a link. There's quite a lot going on, despite the fact that it doesn't actually show all that much. But before we get into that, let me tell you, dear readers, about this Shattered Light Volume 1, The Ruby Flames, because we're doing something new. Get this. In the first and only MMORPG book, fans of books and video games found the worst of both worlds, a limitless world of possibilities that punishes imagination and demands rigid adherence to an obscure and unfathomable formula.
Yes.
It is the antithesis to anything we've done before.
Based on the sensational CD-ROM/online gaming experience.
Which
It's the book after the game after the book. Oh no, it's another one of those, isn't it?
Yes, which redundantly also, if you look at the cover, includes Catware online play game disc offer. So it's based on the CD-ROM, which includes a free game disc.
I'm not even sure if it's the same game. I mean, my copy I picked it up at the flea market, so I didn't get the original disc came later. I mean, we've been able to connect to the to the game system, but
I
yes.
was not so fortunate to acquire an untouched copy, so the copy that you gave to me to read
It had already been had.
they've already been had. Its serial number had already been used. And so I wasn't able to access those remaining Shattered Light servers that are kept online, at least not the official ones.
You found a rip.
On the darker corners of the internet, there is a community of people who, under cloak of anonymity, still battle away at Shattered Light, a game that has been abandoned by most players who consider it a book that will never be finished, a story that is too complicated to follow or adhere to.
I mean, there is a sequel to this book, actually. It's called Darklight, part 2 of the series, but...
What?
No, I'm saying...
But I was told by the helpful Nigerian prince who helped me into the server that this was a mysterious game slash book that had never been finished and had no peer.
The book maybe not, but this is the book after the game, remember? So the game was never finished, but like so many things...
You're having me on. No, the Nigerian prince who helped me like into the game, like that's how I read the book slash played the game. I mean,
okay.
do you remember the incredibly convoluted character creation segment?
Well, yes.
Which reminded us a little bit, I'm sure, of the Ruby Dice, the Choose Your Own Adventure.
The brainchild of Catherine Azaro.
Azaro, yeah.
Azaro, yes.
Do you think she was involved in this?
Well, tangentially at most. Maybe she asked to be distanced from it and said, like, well, you may be basing this on my thing, you nefarious Nigerian prince, but you're not using my name.
Do you think the Nigerian prince was involved in the creation? Do you think Richard A. Knaak... I mean, that doesn't sound like a Nigerian name to me.
Well,
I know a few people from Nigeria, although, to be honest, all of them are from the Igbo people, and which I understand is one of 3 peoples in Nigeria, which... Do you know that whole segment of Africa, the borders were sort of drawn by Europeans?
Yes, it's a very common thing in Africa. It's like it's one of those long straight lines, and it just goes, oh, this belongs to you, and this belongs to you, and then Belgium comes along, you can have Congo.
It was called the Scramble for Africa. It's a really upsetting portion of history from an economic and certainly cultural point of view.
Yeah, it's just like wanton drawing lines on the map and go like, this belongs to you now, this is yours, and like complete disregard for...
It wasn't just about ownership. ownership.
Well, commercial
Initially,
rights, yeah.
it was commerce rights.
Yeah.
It was trade exclusivity to demand higher prices rather than having to compete with each other for the highly profitable local markets.
That seems like a very European way of doing it back in the 1800s.
So, do we think Richard Knaak is a pseudonym for the very helpful and informative Nigerian prince who helped me
could
play
well be, or maybe it's like
I've been in touch with the actual author. Like,
that could be possible, or it might be their heir. I mean, there's a lot of like inherited fortunes in Nigeria as well.
That was indeed the case.
Yes.
I mean, the prince did have some trouble like securing the actual software. He saw that I was a trustworthy person, and
very good.
Yeah, I was able to help him out.
What did you do?
Quite often. Well, I mean, even though I've been a guest of your library, I still have some finances out in the real world, some remaining resources for which I have no need here, as there's nothing to spend it on. It's also why I don't have a problem that apparently the position of junior librarian is not a salaried one, but that's fine. My needs are taken care of.
Oh, that's well.
Yeah, I have what?
It's very good.
The cafeteria is well stocked, and
Yes.
I've made rather a comfortable series of hammocks, so I'm quite okay. So I did not mind dipping into my savings and helping the prince.
And in turn, you got the access you were after.
Yeah. I mean, a chapter at a time. Turns out like there was an awful lot of administrative roadblocks that he needed quite a bit of help with.
You need a lot of payment for each and every step you took.
Yeah. I feel so bad for him, but he promised to pay me back at the end, which I mean, I did finally reach it. So shall we maybe talk about this story, because apparently you didn't go through the extremely long and convoluted character creator that I did.
I used the thing in the book. You know, I started with.
You had it ready-made.
I just used the shorthand version in the book where you have to kind of like fill in the form and then you send it out and you just dial it into. I went through a BBS system that they were still using. It's like more of like a play-by-mail system. Yeah, you kind of have to wait for your. You put in like you put in your decision, and that's the thing. It's like. As far as I gathered it, this was built in the time that online data especially was a big problem. So they had the book, which contained all the information, but just try and stop you from skipping ahead or moving ahead. At the end of each page, you made your decision, and it came back with a number that you had to run through a checksum encryption, and only then you got the next page to go to.
Those hashes were very expensive to calculate.
All the data was in the book, so you could just send like a few numbers back. You only need to have a little minute brief connection.
I was sort of reminded of how Douglas Adams released his book Starship Titanic online for free.
Yes.
Alphabetized. So all of the words were alphabetized when he provided them online.
That's, I guess...
So every word is in there. They're all in there. Have fun. It's all for you.
Wow, that must have been an interesting read. Or maybe a puzzle.
So which character did you go for? Did you go for the farm boy swordsman?
I went for the cat warrior.
See, I couldn't get there.
Oh.
I was convinced that there was a cat warrior because it was a catware thing.
I took my clues from the front cover of the book, where you've got the blue wolf type critter. And so I went like...
in strangely Amazonian, because for the readers at home, if you look down at your podcasting device, you should be seeing the cover of today's book, which features a grey-blue wolf-type person in rather revealing sort of Amazonian armour, carrying a big old halberd.
Yes, and a typical Gandalf rip-off mage on the back.
As we later find out, Gerlin,
yes. I was going to go Rincewind. No, Rincewind, the other one. From the Dragonlance. Maybe we should do one of the Dragonlance books at some point. That could be interesting.
Oh, have you read them?
Oh, God, yes, that's a problem.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem, isn't it? Yes.
So I wound up as one of the cover characters. I was very pleased. That was the front wolf figure. See, in my version, you kind of had to figure out exactly what things were and what their names were before you were permitted to continue, which is why it was such a tremendously complicated mystery to solve. It's finally when I looked at the cover and I saw that the map behind these figures included the word Fuego, as if that was that were a location.
Yes.
And that got me thinking, since we have this wolf in the front, he is wearing boots and gold jewels, so I thought that maybe he was called El Lobo con botas y joyas doradas.
My Spanish isn't very good, can you?
Puss in Boots is El Gato con botas.
Uh-huh.
So we have the wolf in boots and Gold's jewelry.
Yes.
Joyas doradas.
I mean, the game is very literally designed,
Yeah.
because if you say pick up pike, then it goes like, oh, there, I don't see any pike. And you go pick up
there's
Holbert, and I don't see a Holbert. And you...
Pick up Guizar.
Yes, and it turns out
I remember one of your pike things that you told me that one time. Thank you.
It's a glaive, you know.
Ah,
and it's
that
like,
was the one, yeah.
And it's like, and especially because it describes it as a pole arm, but no, you know, you have to figure out which kind of pole arm it is. It's like security through obscurity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of have to guess, like, pick up boots doesn't work, like pick up shoes, no, pick up, galoches.
Tengo las botas.
How did you even get onto Spanish? I mean, it's like, because of the fuego.
Yeah, because of the fuego on the cover. Now, that took me a while before I realized that the northern part of the map was Isla del Pollo y el Fuego, the island of
chicken and fire.
Chicken and fire. That was just typing till I bled. But yeah, I had a lot of days where I was still stuck in the bear costume for a while.
There's like another thing that kind of annoyed me about the book is like how you get railroaded into different scenarios. It's you have a scenario and you get to choose A or you get to choose B, and then despite whichever you choose, it doesn't actually change the outcome. It just changes off. Okay, now this person is pissed off at you, or that person is pissed off at you, but the story is still the same.
The order of the scenes doesn't even appear to change.
No, it changes trivial things like the color of the boots or the outfit or which head it is on the pike at the end. It's the most unimaginative way to choose your own adventure together.
It kills.
And then of course there's the rampant cheating by all the other players. I mean, I swear that there is people who have figured out how the hashing algorithm works. You suddenly you get called up in the middle of the night, your phone goes bing, you have a message from the server, and it goes like, you must turn to page 275 now. And it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, within the next 5 minutes your character will die. And it's like, oh no, mad scramble for the book, where did I leave it? Oh no, it's still in the toilet. I have to look it up, and you page to the book and it says like, you get attacked by a squirrel. For fuck's sake.
I got one of those from my aunt, and it was like, you have to turn to page 519 and send this to 3 of your friends, and I'll know if you don't. Do any of my friends care enough about me to turn to page 519? I did not appreciate that kind of emotional manipulation.
Did you get your family involved in the book?
I was not the only one in my family who was approached by this Nigerian prince with this excellent opportunity. The family savings are in a bit of dire straits at the moment, but now that we've all solved the book, I'm sure that we'll get our winnings.
Well,
just as we were
as
promised.
long as you get 5 people to finish the book as well.
Yeah. That's all of my aunts. They're on it. That's more than 5.
I guess Facebook's good for something after the other.
Yeah, right. So no, I think they're all happy, and they've got 5 friends. So eventually that'll reach the base of the pyramid and all start flowing back up again.
That's definitely the way it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So I was perhaps more motivated than most people because of the quite extraordinary amount of money that I've had to pour into reading and experiencing this book. So I devoured all of the 500-page cutscenes in between bits where you could actually make choices. Like that was. There was a lot of ancillary material.
Yeah, I kind of suspect that they had a playthrough themselves and then tried to make it like that back into a new game, completely missing the point that there was actually multiple paths.
Yeah,
I think that might have been the case. And they went like, oh, but we still need to put choices in it, but we don't like have the creativity to create more stories, so we'll just make the choices irrelevant.
Although that was confusing with the 500-word QuickTime events, like those timed instances where when you make a choice, then a timer starts to run on the server, but you still have to read all of it before you know what the response is going to be.
You can do a little bit of speed reading. You can kind of skip through most of those pages, especially once you figure out about the whole railroading thing. I mean, it's hard to get attached to the characters. I say
certainly when I had a character called El Lobo con botas y joyas doradas, and I thought that he would be incredibly cool and swashbuckling, but no, he's just out there like defeating monsters or defeating animals.
Do you want to cast a spell or attack with a pike?
And it's just a lot of grinding.
Yes.
For a book that was very disappointing.
It was a bit, wasn't it? It's
just
like
grinding.
Do you want to cast a spell or attack with your halberd/staff? Depending if you choose the physical or the magical path, then it would just be like, you had the spell attack, which is your cantrip as your physical character or whatever it is. So you never went for that.
In my first playthrough, that's exactly what I tried. I got the option to use a spell or a physical attack, and I tried, I want to try a spell, and then, no, you didn't make the choice to be a spell casting.
Yeah, and it's and then you get turned, go back to back to the previous page.
So by that time, I was so done with all this grinding that I thought I'd cheat a little bit and just make it easier on myself, and I installed an app called Grinder, but that did not help. it's just an endless series of
I don't know. Like
frustration.
it usually helps people with the grinding.
There was a bunch of people that wanted to help me do some grind. Certainly when I send me a body pick, and okay, well, I've got a Lobos con Joyas Doradas, and some people were really into that.
Just out of curiosity, what kind of distance to your current location did Grindr tell you that they were?
Does it show distances? Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, okay. I'll just worry about that some other time on my own.
Don't worry at all.
Okay, that's great. That's great. No, I've been doing a lot of not worrying.
Worrying is only bad for your blood pressure.
No, I know.
And like, since we have no doctors here, it's like, don't get your blood pressure up.
No, I'm trying not to, but
well, you could always go for another bloodletting, but that didn't go very well last time round.
Prince did a oh yes. Well, don't remind me. I did spend quite some minutes in actual hell. It turns out.
Well,
because of we do have a lot of
we
unnecessary lore associated.
We did pull you out of that, so it's like
literary review podcast, don't we? You did pull me out. No, that's true.
I mean, it's better than having stayed in there, I suppose.
Yes, it's better. It's just I've never been dragged to hell by a cartoon representation of DNA before because I took a job in a library where I found myself for several weeks.
It's a once in a lifetime experience
so far. Speaking of lifetime, it sure does feel like I spent a lifetime reading this book. So eventually, when I was done with the grinding, I was quite delighted to finally meet a new character, finally a female character, the character of Princess Boobwell. How do you Bubuelle?
Boobwell. No, I think it's Boobwell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we
wouldn't want to.
Potato.
Yeah. So it's like we wouldn't want to accuse this book of any sexist.
No. Certainly, once it introduces its only female character as Princess Boobwell. Boobwell. Well, at least she didn't boob poorly. At least she didn't. Oh, what was it?
She titted down the stairs.
Titted boobily down the stairs.
Yes.
The example of women written by male writers.
Yes.
that she cupped her breasts and they swelled in her shirt, and then she titted boobily down the stairs.
Yes.
Brilliant. And then there was all the shit with the griffins, and then one of the characters I was playing turned out to be the chosen one. I mean, it was all kind of a blur.
Are you sure you honestly like paid for the expressway? Like, it was
every penny I had.
It wasn't a pay to win book as far as I got it, but
that's the only way I made it to the end. Like, what was supposed to happen?
I must have found a different server because my problem was the rampant online cheating by other players. Someone had clearly figured out a way to hack the mechanism because they were just like beating me on all sides. And this is a bit of the problem. Like the old play by mail games.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if any of our readers are old enough to remember those from back in the days when you had to actually mail in your moves in space exploration games, and it'd be on a 2 times a week cycle.
Actually, must have been kind of
clearly based on an old game. I can't remember what it was called, but we used to play it back at university on the central computer.
The central computer.
Yes, and it was basically the Star Trek exploration game where you have your little vessel and you tell it to which coordinates to fly, and you can shoot things and type things. But it was actually based on how fast could you input commands. It was basically real time.
Oh, wow.
It's like whenever you put a command in, you'd better hope that your opponent was still there because you could put the command in faster than he could.
Oh wow!
And
so
shoot
it's
them.
like StarCraft, like those real-time strategy.
Pretty much like that, yes. Except you were playing it on a 300 baud computer terminal, and everybody else was sitting in the same data center as you were. And occasionally you heard this anguished cry coming up from out of another corner when you managed to get your opponent very good. I got a lot of those anguished cries coming out of me playing this game because, I got beat on every turn, and I don't think you could nerf this game by grinding it so much that you can get that good without being able to know which page you have to turn to and know which codes you have to put in to get the computer to get you to turn to that game.
You got trounced by veterans,
and there was a lot of good bullshit, but they were like wall hacking or whatever, page hacking, I think I'll call it.
Yeah. Well, I spent every penny I had. I mean, I don't really want to burden anyone with my problems, but quite a few pennies that I apparently don't have, that hopefully will turn out okay.
We'll be starting a Patreon page.
Some personal information that maybe I shouldn't have shared.
Or maybe a GoFundMe. Go grind me.
Go grind. Yes. Yeah. Everybody, just if you have Grindr on your phone, just open it up and just grind someone, and maybe it'll reach me. Please don't absolutely do that. Don't absolutely do that. Be sensible. Be safe.
Well, always be safe.
Have fun. Yeah, safe, sane, and sensible. I wish that I'd been that way, because eventually, when I had no more money to share, this is just that I share some photos. Well, no, they keep me coming back, but. Yes. I'm starting to wonder
Oh no. Well, how can I help you? Is there any way I can pull you out of
This is why I put it. If readers at home, let's hope that the Nigerian prince isn't. I've just been trying to communicate to Kay through the notes on the Omega board, asking him for help and telling him that he was right, that I've been horribly exploited and I am being blackmailed. I don't know what to do. Okay,
Well, don't do what they say. Don't do what they tell you to.
They want me to sponsor things on the podcast and I don't know how.
Oh, what do they want you to sponsor?
I'm not going to say it. It's my last trump
Bit
card.
of dignity.
Hey, how about we go back to the podcast just for now?
Let's do that.
And just to throw them off our scent. But then you help me figure out something to do. Okay. So we're back to the podcast. Back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. So Kay.
Good drink there.
Good
yes.
drink. Lovely. What happened in your playthrough of this book then?
There was an invasion of the library, and the library forces were used to make a significant threat to the Nigerian economy by denying everybody the ability to go into the libraries there and cancel everybody's library missionship unless certain activities in Nigeria were stopped.
What a great book that sounds like. What a great book.
There was
Suddenly, libraries were closed.
The big wizard with his huge staff decided that
Gerlin,
yes, Gerlin, that's the one. Unless certain Nigerian activities are stopped, then all libraries in Nigeria will not be public access any longer,
right?
Including university libraries.
I've got to sort of pull on the brakes there because I understand that apparently all libraries are the same to you and you have supreme power about that. But I do actually have quite a few friends out in Nigeria, and I know that a lot of them enjoy books and they are not involved in any of these practices. So as much as I appreciate you jumping in on my behalf, we can't deny people their libraries.
Well,
for the sake of
yes,
a
but we can't show weakness. We can't show weakness. Bluff doesn't work if they know you're bluffing.
Oh, were we bluffing?
Threats, you can
I'm no good at this.
clearly. So, shattered
what
lights.
happened? Yeah, what happened in your
the
playthrough?
Ruby Flame.
What should have happened if I hadn't been so horribly waylaid by what turns out to have been a scam?
In my version of the book, right at the end, you get to the big moment of choice. Where you can choose to save the world or choose to reset things all the way that they were at the beginning.
Yes,
and
that's still on my screen. I never actually bring myself to make that choice because I want to know where you were.
If you do that, you actually cancel all the server activity that you've done in the past. You can literally wipe yourself and your server activity out of the machine. And if that's in the original game, it might still be effective in our Nigerian princess system.
Whoa!
I mean, I did get some of those page hack codes in, so I'm sure we can cobble together a.
Do you want to take a look at my screen?
A workout? Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, all right. So here we are, and I'm this one. I'm El Lobo con Botas y Joyas Doradas. I think maybe I'm the chosen one. I don't know. The
Good 73.
Very clear. Yes. And Stoner Blow 69. They've been my companions. Stoner Blow 69 was Princess Boobwill, and Git Good 63 was Gerlin.
Yeah. Looking for party type that thing, and that was the grinder thing, of course.
Well, that was mostly the farm boy swordsman who turns out to be, according to his photos, more of a farm boy sword swallower. But
as long as it's blunt.
So where do you think I should go here?
If you choose the magic option to
magic option this time.
Make sure that you reset all the server credits and it should put your account back into its default state. And it might yes.
This is amazing.
It isn't. It's just use this.
It's not just that server. It's like even my bank server, even my email has been unsent. My photos have been decompromised.
This is the best hacksaw ever.
What an incredible power this is.
All you have to do is turn to page 1337.
Shh, don't tell them. This is an immense amount of power. Oh my god, dear readers at home, please use a Scattered Light Volume 1 Ruby Flames responsibly, and whichever page you go through, please consider what you're doing. Certainly there appear to be circumstances where maybe you've made some mistakes in your life that you'd like to undo during the course of reading and playing this book.
And avoid the Nigerian servers. Try to stick with the originals.
I still wonder if it even was Nigerian. Maybe it was just Richard Knaak pretending to be from Nigeria. I mean, he didn't even seem to know that the capital of his nation was Lagos.
Yeah.
He said the capital of Nigeria was Niger, which is an entirely different country. Okay.
Yes.
This is a fantastic thing you've just done for me.
It's been a pleasure that I've been able to do a little thing to avoid ruin on your family.
Thank you. My many aunts and I thank you sincerely. And
you might want to steer them away because this works for your account, not for their accounts. But so you might want to cancel that Facebook post.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do that.
Hope that the Facebook algorithm just doesn't show it to them.
There's a good chance of that.
Unless you paid Zuckerberg as well.
Yeah, anytime I post a photo of something fun that I've been doing with my family, then that gets a lot of like just armies of likes.
That's good.
And that one time that I tried to promote this here podcast was just tumbleweed, just two people.
Well,
two people who I sure hope aren't the ones listening right now. Because oodalally. There's golly, what a day that would be. So all in all, I was really dreading the end of this book because of my particular experience, which turns out I was
glad we could fix that.
Bit. But since you've actually read it the way it was and played it the way it's supposed to, cheaters be damned. I think you should be the one to rate this book.
Well,
perhaps unconventionally for how we usually do this.
Yes, I mean it was dreary and trudging and railroading, and you couldn't
lot of grinding.
You get like.
Gotta say, I did make some friends on Grindr.
Okay.
I mean, do get on.
Oh, let's grade it out of mediocre.
Oh wow! So going
against our tradition of
starting on one end with average, and then traveling right through the middle of the road
to mediocre,
middling.
Yes,
average. And then on the one end, middling on the other, and middle of the road between them.
Yes.
And how do we rate this book by Richard Knaak?
Oh, I would say it's about par.
about par, about even. What a great podcast we're doing. I love doing this podcast. I hope Richard A. Knaak listens to this podcast and really appreciates how much we've enjoyed his fantastic book in the Shattered Light series,
Ruby Flame,
which was apparently followed by the sequel Dark Light.
Shattered Dark Flame.
Oh, whatever. What do we have in store for our readers next week?
Next week's book is by Martin Greenberg. It's called Zombie Raccoons and Killer Bunnies.
Thank you for joining us at Cover My Ass, where baffling books, and in this case a book game, are reviewed but not read
or
and
played.
Not played. By yours truly, my name is Khaki.
And I'm Kay, and remember, we only judge a book by its cover.
We
did it.
We made it. This was a challenging one.
It was.
We've been in a lot of different places. Thank you